Alright, what's going on, folks? Today is March the 26th. It's like almost 7 o'clock in the morning, and today is the day that I just had my first intentional, conscious, like full-fledged lucid dream. So, if you see from the day that I started this, started the first lucid dreaming Vournal entry all the way up until today, all the work that I've done has paid off, to this first dream. And honestly, the last couple of days I've been so focused. I'm about to move, so I've been so focused on getting things together that I haven't really been as intentional as I desired to. But yesterday was Monday, and I usually take the weekend off. Sometimes I take the weekend off just to, rest, to make it not so much of a obligation or a burden. So, I've been feeling kind of bad about it, not really, I guess, clearing my mind at night, not really being, not falling asleep in observation and all that kind of stuff. Literally just like falling asleep without being able to observe it, or waking up as much as I like to in the middle of the night to do all that kind of stuff. But today, I actually did that, so it was good that even though there's been a gap in between, it's not like, I don't know. It's kind of like when you work out for a little while and then you stop for a month and you feel like you've lost all your muscles. It's not necessarily the case. So, feeling good about it. So let me go ahead and get into what the lucid dream was. It's not a lot to it, but man, I think it's it's just good. So tonight I went to sleep at around 12 o'clock, 11:30, 11:45 is when I went to lay down. I don't know exactly when I fell asleep. I wasn't trying to observe myself consciously falling asleep and none of that kind of stuff tonight, because I was kind of worn out. And that's another good thing is I went to the gym. Well, I went to the basketball court today. I was the only one there, but I shot around for like 2 hours. I just got lost because I take my headphones. I get lost in the music, so I was out there for 2 hours. So I was beat. I took a nap in between the day. I took a nap somewhere around three or something. 3:30, I think it was, around there. Not sure how long I stayed asleep. I was intending to meditate, but I noticed myself getting sleepy, so I figured my body probably needed the rest. So I figured I'd go ahead and go to sleep. So I did sleep before, going to sleep at night, but I also got the exercise in, which is another thing they say helps with the lucid dreaming, because it puts us in a good state of deep sleep, or it just gives us good rest when we sleep. So it allows us to be able to actually, lucid dream better. So I did end up doing that, but went to sleep around 11:45. I woke up at 4 o'clock without my alarm. Not exactly sure why, but I woke up at 4 o'clock. Clear sky, bright, big old full moon shining through my window. Just awesome thing to wake up to. But so I just laid in bed because my alarm was set for 5 o'clock because I went to sleep at 12. So, I set it for 5 hours in advance. And I was like, what's the point of getting up? But I ended up staying awake until my alarm went off. So I said, well, since I've been up pretty much since 4, stayed awake till 5, I might as well use that as my wake back to bed hour, instead of getting up now, or getting up then at that time at 5 and staying up till 6. So I turned my alarm off, and I actually didn't end up going back to sleep until 6. So I was pretty much laid in bed for 2 hours just thinking. And then at the end of that 2 hours, I decided to I noticed myself slipping off. I rock my leg when I sleep, so I'm not usually all the way perfectly still when I fall asleep naturally. But when I'm trying to fall asleep, I usually am still. But I noticed that I fell asleep in motion, and I noticed that while I was falling asleep at this time, simultaneously while I'm consciously awake but rocking myself to sleep, I'm sitting down in this parking lot and this lady comes up and starts talking to me. And that happened for like what felt like 2 seconds, but it was a dream initiation. It was either my conscious mind or a dream being trying to bring me into a dream. It was a dream initiation. That was what was supposed to coax me into the dream. but I noticed it and I woke up. So that was at like 6, and I was like, I fell asleep kind of easily there. So let me go and I went and got my laptop to set up the dream timer so that I can use that. Remember, if you guys, watch the other videos, I was talking about using the dream timer to have false awakenings, because they're one of the, in my opinion, it's just like, if you can induce false awakenings at will, then you can lucid dream at will. So I've been trying to do that, but I didn't even set the timer because I wanted to observe myself falling asleep and waking up. So I dozed off one more time, and then I actually fell asleep. And I didn't know, of course, but in this dream, I'm walking through this field, and I I don't know where the field is, but in the dream, it made perfect sense. And as I woke up, I tried to remember where this field was, but in the dream, I'm walking through this field, and it's somewhere where a bunch of people have left already. Like in the dream, I'm one of the last people to be there, and I know that all my friends and stuff have left. And remembering, I'm literally walking through this field. It's got like pathways in it. It's like one of those fields that's right before you get to one of those really really wooded areas. So it's like, you know, grass and then a line of trees. But this line of trees was more like a circle, like a cutout, and then you can walk into the backwoods or whatever that is. So I'm walking through this field, and it just dawns on me like, this is a field from the past. This is a field from your past. Like, this field is nowhere near where you normally live at. And as soon as I thought that, which I don't know where this field was, but that just came to me, and I was like, as soon as I thought that, I looked around and I saw how I just looked around and I saw, like, the greenness of the grass and the trees and stuff like that, and I was like, this is a dream. And it's probably the most calm I've ever been, realizing that it was a dream. It was almost like, this is a dream. This is what I've been waiting for. Like, I'm in here now, as opposed to it being like, oh, I'm dreaming and then wake up. Like, I was anchored in that dream somehow. So basically what ended up happening was, once I realized that it was a dream, I turned around and I looked all around me, because I had to make sure. I'm like, this can't, in a way I almost couldn't believe it, like that I was finally lucid or awake in a dream. So I'm looking all around. I just pretty much do a 360, and then I'm like, okay, well, if this is a dream, there should be some things I'm able to do. And I just started to float up off the ground, and it felt crazy because it wasn't exactly how I imagined it was going to be, but it was perfect. It was I wasn't like a person with legs and arms and stuff. I wasn't that. I was just like awareness within the dream. I didn't have a body. Even though I remember when I first became lucid, I could hear my feet crunching in the grass. So I had feet up until that point, but there was no, like, like almost like when you look ahead, there's nothing you can really see but your nose. There was no nose, there was no torso to look down on, and none of that kind of stuff. So when I was floating, I could feel my body in the bed. So I could literally feel the way I was laying in bed, but I could also feel myself in the dream with no borders or boundaries, as you could, like my hand, it has boundaries and all that kind of stuff where my fingers begin and end. There was none of that. So it was like I was just like conscious awareness in the dream floating. So as I'm floating, I'm just looking around because I can't believe how real it is. I mean, there was crickets, there was the sound of birds, everything, and it was existing without me. Like, I was becoming aware of it as I'm floating through this place. It was almost to the point where in the dream I wondered if I was dreaming or if I was somewhere, if I was like in an actual place. Because I mean, it was, and then a bird flew past me. And as this bird flew past me, I remember thinking like, like, I didn't conjure that bird up. And I started to think like, I wonder what like creepy things that I could probably conjure up if I use my imagination. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to see those things yet. And so that's one of the things I was thinking in the dream. And then and what woke me up was which was kind of crazy, was, I don't know why that happened, but in the dream, I heard someone put keys into the door and come in, and it sounded like my old girlfriend, sounded like my ex-girlfriend. Like it sounded like she was coming home, and I was kind of confused and I couldn't get up because I was like, I could hear this in the dream, and then I wanted to get out the dream so that I could figure out what was going on here. So I get out the dream, I pretty much wake up, but I'm like still in a dark dream place. So I wake up pretty much still in a dark dream place. So it's kind of like I'm still dreaming, but lucid, and I can't move. But it's not like I woke up in a sleep paralysis. It was like I was paralyzed but dreaming. And then so it's like, hear the jingle in the door, hear the door open. You hear like female voice, kind of almost as if she was coming in the house on the phone. And then I'm up, and then there's no sound, and I'm like, oh. So I guess maybe that last part was a little bit of that wake up hallucination type stuff that they talk about. I don't know, but finally had my first lucid dream, folks. I'm excited because I feel like that was easy, as the way that it happened tonight definitely is easier when you wake up in the morning, because there's just like just like when you fall asleep at night, the first part of the night, the body just wants rest. And dreams at that portion it's almost like being drunk. It's uncontrollable. If you ever went to sleep drunk, you don't remember anything. It's just a blackness. You don't remember when you went to sleep or nothing. But in the morning, or the second half of the night, pretty much, when you wake up, there's a awareness that's returning. It's pretty much the awareness that returns during the second half of the night to make sure that the last sleeping cycle you wake up for the day. So it's definitely something that can be taken advantage of, because man, I wanted to go back to sleep to see if I could do it again, because that period, just developing the habit of dozing off and catching yourself, developing the habit of, I don't know what that was, but it's like pitch black behind me. I just heard a noise. But developing that consciousness of and before I shot this, I did a reality check too, just to make sure I wasn't having a false awakening. But just developing that habit of falling asleep and waking up, falling asleep and waking up, like observing yourself dozing off, catching yourself and waking up. Developing that habit will allow you to be able to, I guess, bridge the gap between being awake, falling asleep, and then dreaming. That's what it's done for me. It's helped me tremendously with that. So I guess if that's one thing I could offer, is that the wake back to bed method has helped me a lot. Meditating, just observing my consciousness, how the attention goes back and forth between conscious, subconscious, and like I said, just falling asleep and observing my going in and out. That's one thing the dream timer does help me do, is if I fall asleep and I fall too deep to the point where I can't wake back up, or I won't wake back up, the timer resets me, and then I can observe myself falling asleep all over again. And I think the timer has like 9 parts to it or something like that. So that's like 9 different times I get to fall asleep and catch myself, as opposed to in an average night, maybe 2 or 3 times, if that. So there it is, folks. That's the end of the journal. I just wanted you to see basically where I started at to the day that I finally had one, and the steps that I took, the frustrations and the obstacles and all that kind of stuff that I had, so that you can get a realistic picture, because that's what I've always wanted while reading books or watching videos and stuff, is just to have a realistic picture. Some average person that didn't do any studies or research or anything like that, trials and tribulations of the average person, I guess. So I'm about to go back to sleep because I'm still tired. It's 7 o'clock and I don't have a lot of work to do today, except for to shoot some videos to put on my other YouTube channel. So I think I'm gonna go back to sleep now and see if I can do another lucid dream, and I'll post this later. Thank you guys for hanging with me, and but if I have any other lucid dreams in the future, I'll probably post those anyway. But that's the end of the journal, and I appreciate you guys watching. and all that kind of stuff, and your comments and likes and all that. All right, folks, take it easy. Have a good day.